We ask that you take a moment, please, to silence your cell phone. Please refrain from using any flash photography while here in the main interview room. Also, the use of any video recording devices is prohibited. That includes professional news gathering cameras, handheld cameras, mini cameras, and mobile phones. Just a reminder that tonight here in the main interview room, you cannot go live on social media. You also can't record video and post it later. If you need access to video feeds, you can do so in the back of the room. The mults are available for your use for those purposes. Does everybody have a box score so far that wants one? Excellent. Yeaman, is that released? The all-tournament team, is that released? Okay, so we have the information on the all-tournament team. Looks like you guys have that as well. Jarrett Culver of Texas Tech, Matt Mooney of Texas Tech, DeAndre Hunter of Virginia, Ty Jerome of Virginia, and on the all-tournament team as the most outstanding player, Kyle Guy of Virginia. We're still awaiting word on the student athletes from Texas Tech, which ones are going to be available here in the main interview room. But we'll begin with Texas Tech in just a few moments from now. Jesse, any kind of hard out this evening? Let it roll. Coach Beard of Texas Tech will be joined by student athletes Jarrett Culver and Norens Odiase. As soon as Coach Beard and those student athletes arrive here in the main interview room, the locker room will be open for Texas Tech student athlete availability for a period of 30 minutes. We're just a moment away from Texas Tech. Texas Tech has arrived. We're joined now by Texas Tech head coach Chris Beard and student athletes Jarrett Culver and Norin Zodiace. Coach, we'll ask you to open things up with a statement. Then we'll take some questions first for the student athletes. Coach.
First, I just want to congratulate Virginia basketball and Coach Bennett and tell them how much respect we have for their program. The game was everything we thought it would be. Thought it would come down to one last possession, and it did in regulation. And then in overtime, it just got away from us a little bit. But nothing but respect for their program, their coaches, their players, their fans. I thought it was a great national championship game. In terms of our players, I've never been more proud of a team that I've coached. I think what these guys have accomplished this year, Big 12 championship, Final Four, national championship game, we'll graduate all 5 seniors here in a couple months, and these guys will go on to be great pros and fathers and husbands, and just never been more proud of a group. A lot of emotion in our locker room right now, and it's real. Just guys that care about the guy next to them. So, but this is life, and we'll bounce back. In terms of Texas Tech basketball, we're not going anywhere. We'll be back in this tournament sooner than later, and we intend to be a part of college basketball as we build the program.
We'll take questions for the student athletes. If you have a question for Jarrett or Norins, please raise your hand. Let's start to the right of the aisle toward the back with Reed, then we'll move up to Dan.
This question's for Norins. Norins, I guess just in that last couple minutes, I guess just what were you thinking when you got that block and then made those 2 free throws that put you guys up 68-65?
I thought we were up 3. We needed to stop to win the game. They came down, hit a 3, tied the game. So.
In the front of the room on the right side, Dan.
Yeah, Dan Wolken, USA Today. Jarrett, what kind of challenge did you have tonight being guarded by Hunter for a lot of the game? And then on the last possession of regulation, were you thinking 3 the whole way there?
He's a great player, athletic. He played me well tonight. And, I just got the switch. I saw opening and shot the shot.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes from Texas Tech. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go back to Reed in the back on the right.
Jared, I guess when you guys went to overtime, did you feel like you had momentum going into that? And I guess what was the mentality going into overtime?
Yeah, we felt like we had momentum because we came back from about 10. So we for sure felt like we had momentum, and our mindset was just a 5-minute games. We've been prepared for it. We practice it every day. So, we just didn't come out on top tonight.
Continuing with questions for Norins or Jarrett. If you have one, please raise your hand. You want to follow Reed?
Norins, I guess just for you, what do you feel the story is of this team? I know it's a little time removed from it, but what do you want this story to be for this team?
Resilience and toughness, everything we are as a team. It took a lot to get here. We've been through a lot together. Total new team 1 year, and to get here, it took a lot of guts, and I'm proud of our team for that, but it doesn't feel good at all right now.
Continuing with questions for the Texas Tech student athletes, if there are any, please raise your hand. Toward the center of the room.
Choice Woodman, Double T 97.3 in Lubbock. Jarrett, did we see you play your last game tonight as a Red Raider, or is that decision still to be made?
That decision's still to be made. All season I just focus on my team and, try to win the national championship, so I haven't thought about that any. But now that the season's over, I'll take time with my family and coach and consider my future.
Continuing with questions for Jarrett and Norins, if there are any. Any final question for the student athletes from Texas Tech? We'd like to thank Norins and Jarrett for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back to the locker room and join their teammates. Congratulations, fellas, on a great season and a great run. First question for Coach Beard. Please raise your hand if you have one. Let's go up front to the right. Dan.
Chris, hi, Dan Walken, USA Today. I just want to kind of go through the last sequence. Hunter made that three in the corner to tie the game at the end of regulation. It looked like I saw you motioning. Were you trying to say no threes there? You made a motion to your team. Were you trying to say no threes?
When we were on offense or defense?
You guys were on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, we work on that every day in practice. 3-point lead. We don't want to give up a three. So, but I trust my players. We work on it every single day. I'll have to go back and watch the film. It looked like some dribble penetration, maybe baseline, and a really good pass. So, but yeah, in that situation, with a 3-point lead and less than a shot clock left, we're trying to play really sound defense with three objectives: no 3-point shots, no and ones, and we got to secure the defensive rebound. We just came up a little bit short, but give Virginia credit. You know, they are a really, really good team. So much poise, and just have a lot of respect for them.
If you have a question for Coach Beard, please raise your hand. There's one in the back of the room toward the center. We'll use that back right microphone.
Travis Hines, NBC Sports. Chris, it looked like you stopped to talk to a couple of your guys before they walked off the floor. What was your message to them after the game there?
Just, man. Whew. Just told them I loved them. And, you know, our relationship's just getting started. I'll be at those guys' weddings one day, and hopefully when their kids get born, and do everything I can to talk them out of getting into coaching so they don't ever feel like this. But, you know, I just love those guys.
If you have a question for Coach Beard, please raise your hand. Center of the room, left of the aisle.
Coach, on the last Virginia possession of regulation, did you consider fouling at all up three?
I think there was 22 seconds left, a little early. We've got some calls. Give Virginia credit. You know, if they would have come down and run like a kind of a more deliberate possession like they normally do, we would have fouled up top. We've got some signals. We were ready for that. But to me, they got real aggressive and didn't have a chance to do that. So, again, we were prepared for that. We work on it every day, and I trust my players. You know, I'll always be a guy that trusts players.
In the center of the room.
Ben Golan with Red Raider Sports. Coach, Kyler Edwards, for a freshman, hit some big shots tonight. How good was he, and how bright is his future moving forward?
Hey, Kyler's been one of our best shooters all year long. Tonight he played a no-turnover game, which was huge. And he was just real competitive on defense. You know, I'm sure he made some mistakes like everybody does and did tonight, but he was dialed in. The stage wasn't too big for him, so I was proud of the young guy tonight. He's a good shooter.
Up front to the right of the aisle, we're going to use that front left microphone. Paul.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Coach, DeAndre Hunter had 5 points at halftime. He was 1 for 8 from the field. Finished with a career-high 27. Did he find another gear in the second half, you think? Was he just very difficult to stop?
Yeah, without watching the film yet, I would say twofold. We did have some defensive lapses. But you got to give him a lot of credit. They ISO'd him, and he hit just a lot of tough shots. Matt Mooney's an all Big 12 defensive player. We had Matt on him. We put Jarrett Culver's length on him a little bit. So I'd say a combination of two things. We would like to have some of those plays back. But more importantly, I'd give him a lot of credit. He hit tough shots. I mean, he's a pro. We could have scrambled him and ran at him a little bit more. And, you know, it might be a coaching mistake. But we were dialed in. We knew who he was. He just hit a lot of tough shots.
If you have a question for Coach Beard, please raise your hand. Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNHI, Indiana Sports. Coach, you started 0 for 8 from the field, and then both Edwards and Brandon Francis kind of hit some shots to get you back in. How big was his contribution off the bench tonight?
Edwards? Yeah. Well, Brandon's one of our best players. He's basically like a starter for us. Brandon and I decided to put him in the six-man role at the first of the year. He said, Coach, whatever it takes to win, but I've always thought you should bring one of your best players off the bench. And so Brandon's done a great job sparking us, but he's basically a starter for us. Early in the game, we tried to simulate the pack line help, the Virginia defense, but in one-day prep it was difficult. The first of the game, we just couldn't get anywhere, so we made an adjustment with our offense and started, basically getting some three-point shots to get us back in the game. But their defense was as good as advertised. It's very, very difficult to score against.
On the right side of the room, Jim.
Coach, Jim Roop with Westwood One News. Earlier this week, you were talking about balance and family and faith, and your texting thank yous that you have the team do from time to time, just to kind of center them and keep the humility, I guess. And because you can't have a bad day, you said, when you're thankful. So right now, how would you help them process this, and to where does your thanks go today?
We just continue to tell these guys what we've always told them, college basketball is the best education I think you can get. It teaches you how to get along with people and how to work for a goal and how to handle success and how to handle really, really tough times, which we're experiencing right now. But, this is just a great opportunity to learn from and to get even tougher. When you hear the mental toughness part about our program, it's real. We believe in it. And so this is just another time to get mentally tough. We'll start recruiting tomorrow. Sure, the returning players will take a couple days off per NCAA rules, and we'll get back to work. Then our seniors, we'll start with the pro process of basketball and finishing up their degrees. So, but I just told the guys tonight, it's pretty simple, man. I love you. Thank you. And our relationship's just getting started.
This will be the final question for Coach Beard, center of the room. Blair?
Blair Kirkhoff with the Kansas City Star. Chris, how limited was Tariq tonight?
I mean, he had a severe high ankle sprain, these ones where some guys are out for 2 or 3 weeks. So in the normal basketball season, he would not have played tonight. Tariq's a no-excuse guy. You're not going to hear this from his camp, but I'll proudly tell anyone that wants to know the guy's a warrior. I think it was just adrenaline that let him get back in the game the other night, and then after the game it swelled up. Our trainer, Chris Williams, did a great job, worked tirelessly around the clock. We put him in his own hotel room so Morrow could get some sleep. Then Chris set the alarm every 2 hours trying to get the swelling down. Really didn't practice or anything today, and then literally kind of warmed up in the locker room, and then took the pain shot and then went out there and tried to play the best he could. So nothing but respect for Tariq. Most guys wouldn't even try, but he's just a warrior. So thankful for him being a part of Tech basketball, what he did in his 1 year as a grad transfer, our leader in so many ways. I love Tariq. I appreciate everything he did, and tonight was a great example of how tough that kid is. And I think he's a pro. I think he could play at the highest level because I know what's in his heart, and I know what he's all about, and he's a winner.
Coach, we want to thank you for joining us here all week.
Thank you.
Congrats on a great season and a great run. Good audio now. I'm sorry, John. Let me check my text. Not yet. And I would yell, but they're doing a radio interview. Nobody likes me when I yell. Jesse, we're going XL. XL. I think so. How are you doing? We'll be joined in just a few moments by the head coach of the 2019 national champion University of Virginia Cavaliers, Tony Bennett, as well as student athletes DeAndre Hunter, Kyle Guy, and Ty Jerome. The Texas Tech locker room should still be open for availability. We'll do our best to let you know when Virginia opens. That's a period of a minimum 30 minutes. And once again, head coach Tony Bennett will join us down here in the main interview room with student athletes DeAndre Hunter, Kyle Guy, and Ty Jerome. We'll let you know when we get some action headed in this direction as well. Hi, Gene. I've thrown you out of every one so far. You just haven't left. Jesse, how many shots of me were there in One Shining Moment this year? How many action sequences? Baker's dozen? Just want to get it on the record that you guys are officially mean for bringing pizza in there and in here and hitting the pizza early. Did you guys get that quote okay? ASAP? Transcribe it. Officially mean. Yeah, sounds good. No, I'm good. I'll wait till the post game. Did you guys receive the all tournament team information and the most outstanding player information? Excellent. Anybody need a box score? Mike? I got one for you. Amy, I thought we'd take this one together, but you got too much pizza. Appreciate that. Virginia's still in the locker room, and the locker room hasn't opened yet, so we'll let you know when that happens. Virginia is on its way. Because Coach Bennett and the Virginia student athletes are headed toward the interview room, that means that the locker room is now open for student athlete availability. That's for a period of a minimum of 30 minutes, starting now. While joining us here in the main interview room, just a couple reminders. Please take a moment to silence your cell phone. Please refrain from any flash photography or video recording. That includes professional news gathering ENG cameras, handheld cameras, mini cameras, as well as mobile phones. You can't go live on social media from your phone here in the main interview room. You also can't record video and post it later on any social media outlet. If you need access to video, we have the mults in the back of the room. Ask a representative from Hammond Communications for help if you need it. Hey, Coach. Congrats. Congrats. Congrats, Ty. You're on the end again, Ty. Congrats, DeAndre. We're joined now by University of Virginia head coach, the coach of the national champions, Tony Bennett, and student athletes DeAndre Hunter, Kyle Guy, and Ty Jerome. Coach, we'll ask you to give us, please, a couple thoughts on the game, and then we'll take questions first for the student athletes.
I think it was a terrific game to see how these guys played. The one thing I said to them before in the locker room, I said, you guys face pressure that no team in the history of the game has faced, well, really all year, but being down 14 against Gardner-Webb. I said, and you did not panic in that moment, and you fought, and you found a way out. I said, that, I think, has prepared you for this moment to be able to handle the pressure or the intensity of a national championship game. And these guys stepped up. What DeAndre, is that your career high, 27? What a game to have it. I mean, he was terrific. Ty, these three all year have been unbelievable. And if one was a little off, someone picked up in the team. So it was, to me, it appeared, from my standpoint, to be a high-level game. And, we scored 85. That was in that setting, so good stuff.
Questions for the student athletes. Let's start up front. Jeff.
Jeff White, VirginiaSports.com. DeAndre, what was the difference for you in the second half? Did anyone say anything to you at halftime?
No. I just tried to be aggressive. I was aggressive in the first half, I believe, but my shots just weren't falling. And I just tried to do the same thing in the second half, and my shots were falling. So just staying aggressive, that's it.
All the way to the back of the room. David, we'll use that back right microphone. Olivia's.
DeAndre, back here, DeAndre. David Teal with the Daily Press and Newport News. On the last sequence in regulation, just before you hit the three, as you're coming down court, it appeared that Coach Bennett said something to you from the bench. Did he indeed, and do you recall what he said right before you got that look from the right corner to tie it?
Yeah, he was just telling me to play that we were running because I don't think I knew it. He was just relaying the play to me, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it was a great. I'm not supposed to talk. Never mind. So.
Yeah, it was a great play. He drew it up.
No, I didn't mean that. I was saying it was a great. It was a great screen by Kyle. I was trying to tell him we're running this action, and I thought we'd get it. So sorry.
He's not talking about that play.
What?
The three you hit the same in the overtime.
You're talking about M4 in, right?
No, it wasn't, bro. That was regular M. I threw to you.
All right.
It was a great pass and a great shot.
We're a little confused on which play you're talking about.
It was in overtime, bro. You want to bet?
Maybe we'll get back to it. Let's go to the right of the aisle. Mike.
Kyle and Ty, Mike Barber, Richmond Times Dispatch. A year ago, sitting at the podium, the emotions you felt to be here now as a national champion, can you guys just try to put into words what you're feeling right now?
And Mike, who is that for? For Kyle and Ty. All right, Ty first, please, then Kyle.
I'm about to say, don't ask me because I can't yet. This is, forget last year. This is just everything you dream of since you're a little kid. You know what I mean? I'm not even thinking about UMBC right now. I'm just thinking this is a dream come true. And it's even more than that because you never even imagine you'll be able to spend a year with people you actually love. You know what I mean? Your teammates and your coaches. And, not a lot of people get along like we do. So to share this moment with them is unbelievable.
Kyle.
Yeah, we came in together and said that we were going to win a national championship. And, you know, to be able to hug each other with confetti going everywhere and say we did it, it's, you know, the greatest feeling I've ever felt in basketball.
To the left of the aisle, Nancy.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Kyle, first of all, have you changed your screensaver yet or your Twitter avatar, and what's it going to be?
No, I'll get around to it.
And also, too, this is kind of a follow-up, but when you were writing the letters, what did you visualize in your mind going from that to this, and how closely does it resemble that if you did?
Yeah, I think everyone on the team, as soon as the buzzer sounded and, you know, we were done with the press conference and stuff, that we knew we all had the same goal in mind for next year, and that was to win a national championship. You know, we've all had our own battles, and I said earlier that it's a really special group because we all had the same why, amongst other whys, but to share the same one and, you know, to battle through everything we battled through and come out on top is a, you know, fantastic feeling.
To the right of the aisle in the center, Jeff.
You said to me that when you got back to campus last time, you had the hood on, head down. What's it going to be like now? What is this all like for you right now? I mean, you said you haven't even shed a tear. Have any of you shed a tear yet?
I have.
You did. The other two haven't. When did you shed a tear, Ty?
When I hugged my
that floater in regulation.
If I made that, they would have scored. We would have lost. But no, when I hugged my mom and dad and my brother, they were crying, so you know I couldn't help it.
Front row to the right side.
Ty, what a roller coaster ride. Just talk about the whole tournament in general and just your mentality going in with these last second wins all the time.
Just to remain faithful to the little things. Coach Bennett always talks about staying faithful, and he told us, you know, don't grow weary in doing good, and that's for every possession mindset. It's a life mindset, you know. So you just play to that buzzer sounds, and you know, the fact that I missed that floater in regulation and Coach Bennett called the exact same play, it just shows, you know, how much my teammates believe in me, how much he believes in me, and you know, we just played to that buzzer sounds. We all believe in each other, and it's, you know, the most special team I've ever been on.
Up front on the left side.
Ty, you talked yesterday about how growing up you would watch national championship games, staying up late to watch them. You mentioned the Mario Chalmers shot. I mean, what's it like knowing that, you know, little kids probably stayed up past their bedtime watching what you guys just did?
Yeah, it's unreal. You know, I haven't really, you know, thought about all that stuff yet. I haven't really had time to reflect on anything. You know, I just been trying to enjoy the moment, and yeah, it still don't feel real. It still doesn't feel real. Come on, bro, talk properly.
To the left of the aisle, midway back.
Yeah, Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times. This is for Kyle. Kind of the question was kind of asked before, but how much did last weekend's games help prepare you guys for a stretch run like this, and particularly also the game, the semifinal game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've taken, you know, every experience that we've been through together and tried to use it in a way that could, you know, propel us to a national championship. You know, all those close games and, you know, all the practices where we practice late game situations, we tried to execute, and we were very disciplined, and I think that got us through a lot of games, along with, you know, just trying to leave it all on the floor, and I think we succeeded at those things.
On the right side, fourth row, and this will be the final question for the student athletes before they head back to the locker room.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. This is for Kyle and Ty. It's a long haul to a national championship for any team, probably a little bit longer for you guys. Can you imagine going through it and surviving it and getting to this point with any other coach other than Coach Bennett?
Ty first.
We'll go straight down the line. Ty, you can go first, then Kyle, then DeAndre.
Why would it be longer for us than other teams, though?
Perhaps because you don't want to mention or think about what happened, how last year ended.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, for us, it actually wasn't like that. You know what I mean? Last year, it drew us even closer together, and, you know, it made us enjoy, every part of the season even more. It made us enjoy each other's company more on the road. We grew closer together off the court. So it wasn't like a rush to get to this championship game and then win it so the season could be over so we could prove all you guys wrong. It was more just, we grew even more united, and we enjoyed every part of the season. And then obviously to finish the year like this is unreal. And to answer your question, I don't know, we couldn't have done this with any other coach.
Kyle.
Yeah, to expand more on that, Coach said something that really resonated with us, is to run to the start line, not the finish line. And we've done that every single game this year. Joy is in the competition. But, to be able to give him a national championship and do it for him, the program, and our families, it means the world. And I wish I had the words, but it just still does not feel real.
DeAndre.
Yeah. Joy is in the competition, like Kyle said. This is a great win for our program, great win for our coach. We worked for this all offseason, and all that work just paid off.
We want to congratulate and thank Ty, Kyle, and DeAndre. They're going to head back to the Virginia locker room, which is open for student-athlete availability right now.
Good job.
First question for Coach Bennett is going to come all the way on the right side.
Hey, Coach Bennett. Zach Peerless, Augusta Free Press. There's a picture in your house you've talked about before with these three guys and Jay Huff as that part of that 2016 class. They've seen a lot of things now in their time at UVA. What are the emotions now attached to that picture, and how does this change that picture and the feelings that you'll see when you see it?
Yeah, when they came on the recruiting visit, I remember telling them, look, the foundation has been laid by guys, Joe and Malcolm were here and all the guys who went before. And we had won some ACC championships. We've been to the Elite Eight. I said, we're asking you to build on that foundation, and even at that house, and that's going to be the hardest step. But if you're willing, I said, we'll take a chance at it. That's why I mentioned the Rocky poster. I said, I want guys who want a chance at a title fight. And to see them come in either as young men or boys and grow into men, this season, and I'll mention what happened last year, that can only mature you. I don't know of anything else that would allow these guys to be able to handle this situation and to play through stuff and to have a perspective and a poise and resiliency unless they went through something that hard. And they're really good players. They don't probably get enough credit. Well, I think some of them do for their talent, but they had something different about them collectively. One of our themes, I told them before the Auburn game, I said, just bring your 2 fish and 5 loaves. It's a story in the Bible. And I said, it'll be enough. I said, it'll be enough for the masses. I said, when you guys play the right way, the collectiveness of it takes over. And I've watched it, and I've stepped back, and I've seen this. And now I've seen them mature through everything. And for them to do what they did, and how they've won, it's a great story. It really is.
On the right side, left of the aisle, Dan.
Hey, Tony. Dan Walken, USA Today. Congratulations, first
Thank
of
you.
all. As the game went on, from the perspective of somebody who's definitely not a coach, it seemed like Texas Tech was trying to do more and more things to get someone other than DeAndre onto Culver. How did you see that?
Yeah.
Why did DeAndre have so much success against Culver, and how did you just sort of evaluate his defensive performance?
That was the matchup. Let me see his stats. 5 of 22. I didn't realize this was that. And he's such a talented player. We wanted that matchup. We really wanted to have that matchup. So Coach Beard did a great job of, they went small. When they went small, we had a match and go small. Braxton did a great job, and we wanted to switch the ball screens. And then we were a little worried because he is so good, but we just tried to make it happen as much as possible, and Dre just made him work to get shots. DeAndre, he was just named the Defensive Player of the Year, and his length and his ability to lock in and slide is as good as most. And I thought, that was a great two-way performance, defensively and offensively in this game, in this setting. And he saved his best for last. And that tells you there's something in that young man. And he's got more. He's scratching the surface. But we had to have that because I don't know if anybody else one-on-one who could guard him. And I said it comes down to making plays. Yes, offensively, but it comes down to making plays defensively. And I thought he did that and made Culver earn, certainly. Jarrett.
Left to the center aisle, Doug.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to it, but offensively, it seemed as if DeAndre took charge there at the end. Do you tell him to take charge, or sometimes it seems like he's, trying not to take over?
Yeah, that's, DeAndre usually lets it come, and that I think he grew up in a way in this tournament in the second half of the Auburn game, and definitely, and he was getting his shots, but you saw it in him, and that when he puts that into it, boy, he's special. But no, we were trying to get him the ball. Ty is so good, and our players, they understand. He's like, all right, we got to get him the ball in these situations and go to work. And we did call. I'm not sure I can answer the question. We did call an action for him to hit that three in the corner, and then one time Ty made a great pass. But I thought he really showed an aggressiveness that we needed. You need your top players to step up and make plays, and he did it on both ends.
Right of the center aisle, Mike. We're going to use the front left microphone, Matt.
Tony, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. I believe you were 12 for 12 at the free throw line in the overtime. Can you just speak to, one, the poise your guys showed in the overtime, and also did the previous games prepare them for, they didn't seem either out of gas, they didn't seem too emotional in handling the overtime?
No, well, I tell you, we had 3 Saturday, Monday games. We played Duke at home, and then we had to go to Carolina. And I think I said this in the podium before, but I said this is how it's going to be in the tournament, and this is how we're going to prepare on Sunday. And we did that every time we had those games, and we did it in the NCAA tournament, the day in between. And they knew what to expect. And I said, you're built for this. You're prepared for this because this is what we did. And we started that process in January in that Duke Carolina weekend. And I said, just get after it. And we worked in between. A lot of people just walk through. I don't know what people do. I just know from my experience as a coach in the Pac-10 how important that day is in between and how we just get to prepare well, and get after it. And so I think they stepped in the moment. They faced pressure through the year, through the tournament, and all that stuff played into it. And that a lot goes to our strength coach, Mike Curtis. I mean, he has those guys as finely tuned machines, and they work. We were smart at the end of the year with how much rest we gave them and prepared them. It's just, a balance, and it obviously it hit.
In the center, Nancy.
Nancy Armour, USA Today. Tony, this is a two-parter. You said that what happened last year really forged them this year, but there are a lot of people twice their age that wouldn't have been able to do this. What is it about them that allowed them to do that? And then also tonight, they didn't just seem to survive this; they seem to really be having fun tonight.
Yep.
And is that part of it?
Yeah, the quote that DeAndre said, and I told him this. It's about the joy of competition and the fun in the pursuit of a championship. And that. I love it. And the quote that my wife, actually, I just saw, she went to that TED Talk, and you talk about being almost prophetic. What that says, if you learn to use it right, the adversity, it will buy you a ticket to a place you couldn't have gone any other way. And I don't know if, maybe we could have, but I don't know, going through what we did last year and having to, it helped me as a coach, all the stuff that they talked about, I think, bought us a ticket to a national championship. And at the time, you wouldn't have thought it, but they were battle-tested. They were, you can't go through the stuff that no one's experienced. And again, it is a game, we talked about it, but they had to deal with things, their own stuff inside and the opinion of others, and just come together and tighten it in a way. And they went after it in terms of developing their own game, and then how they played. They were a joy to coach. I mean, they worked. And anything I said, yes, sir, they would just go after it. And we pushed them hard, but we also loved on them too. I think it was the balance of that, and they knew it, and they knew we were in this together. That's why we said this is our united pursuit. That was our theme, and I love that because it was everything we had.
On the right side toward the back.
Coach Kyle Guy, most outstanding tournament player. Why do you think he is at his best when the lights are brightest?
Yeah. I got a text from Dabo Sweeney who said, let the light shine in you that shines in you be brighter than the light that shines on you. And I think he has something in him. I love that quote. I don't know where it was, but I thought it was so good. And I shared it with the guys. And he has something in big games and makes plays. It's just, he has it in him. I know he's a young man of faith, and he has great confidence in himself. And, he's honest, and he's got it. And he did it again and made big shots. And I've seen that from little on. You look at him, he's not the most physical guy, but it's inside. Ty has that in him, and so does Kyle, and DeAndre showed it tonight. DeAndre has all the ability in the world, and that's coming, and Kihei has it, and I can go down the list, but that's what you look for. You take guys who are tough mentally and skilled and smart and have enough athleticism, and you can be really good.
On the right side, all the way back, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. Tony, for you, has the pain gone away completely now?
Yeah, I mean, you have scars, right? You have a scar, and it reminds you of that. But, you know, it's a memory, and does it go away completely? No, I wish that wouldn't have happened in some ways. Now I say, well, if it bought us a ticket here, so be it. But I'm thankful in a way for what happened, because it did. It drew me closer, most importantly, to my faith in the Lord, drew me closer to my wife and children, just because I say you realize what's unconditional in those spots when the world's telling you you're a failure, you're a loser, and you're the worst thing going and all that stuff. You say, okay, what really matters? And it pushed me to that in a way. And then it drove me to, I think as a staff, we became better. We had to look at how can we change if we're in this spot again and we play certain teams, and we adjusted some things. That helped. And again, all the lessons from that. So is the pain gone? I mean, I still feel a little, because I remember that feeling, but I think I'm okay.
Up front.
Coach Schaefer Murray, Washington Sports Network. I'm not sure if you know this, but you still have a huge fan base in the Northwest. Just talk about how your days at Wazoo and those teams with Rochester and Lowe and Baines, and just talk about how they kind of just propelled you on your way.
Derek Lowe was here. Ben Johnson, who's my dear friend and coach. Taylor Rochester was at the games. I think David Harmeling was here. Jeff Varum was here. These are guys that I played for. I was given a chance by Jim Sturk and Ann McCoy to take that job. My dad came out of retirement, that whole story. Those were my formative years, and we did special things there. And it prepared me in ways. It allowed me, honestly, to take chances on guys like Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, guys that I saw because I had to do that at Washington State. And I realized if their heart is right and their character is right and they're tough and they're skilled, you can maybe miss in some areas, but that will end up taking you further than maybe just looking at just talent alone or skimping in some others. So that was everything.
And the final question for the national championship coach.
Tony, Steve Futterman from CBS News. You know, a great philosopher might say one can only appreciate the highest of highs if one has experienced the lowest of lows. And in a sports sense, in a basketball NCAA playoff sense, you have had both those experiences. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that? Do you think that makes this special because you understand the depths that you're going to appreciate the heights tonight?
Yeah, I think for sure it added to it. Absolutely, it makes you appreciate it. I never thought of myself being a national championship coach. I wasn't even going to really get into coaching. I wasn't crazy about it. I loved playing. And then, you know, I saw my dad's team go to the Final Four. I was a volunteer manager, and I got into it. I love the young men. I love the game. But it's not my end-all, be-all. I think there was a bigger plan going on here, and I wasn't needed, but I was used in it, and I hope that, you know, it's a message for some people that there can be hope and joy and resiliency, and I'm thankful for what happened. That's what I did at the end. When that horn went off, I just put my head down and I said, thank you. I'm humbled, Lord, because I don't deserve to be in this spot, but you chose me to be here, and I'll give thanks. And I told our guys in the locker room, I just said, put your arms around each other. I said, take a look at every guy in here. Look at each other. I said, promise me you will remain humble and thankful for this. Don't let this change you. It doesn't have to. We'll have memories. We'll be at each other's weddings, or I'll be at their weddings. Yes. But stay humble and stay thankful. It's a great story. That's probably the best way I can end this. It's a great story.
I want to thank Coach Bennett for appearing here all week long and taking our questions, and congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
$7:50 a.m., 6:50 a.m.